and in some of the biggest names that have ever played for Arsenal. Jerome Anderson is in the building.
Did you feel the change between Arsene and Wenger?
This is about a man that literally gave his life to Arsenal Football Club. He was always incredibly loyal to his players and to the board.
Was he too loyal?
Charlie introduced me to a 15-year-old David Rocastle.
Oh,
He
wow.
brought him into my office one day and he went, listen, I want you to look after him like a dad. Sorry, every time I speak about David, I find it, even to this day, very, very difficult. I personally take my hat off to the manager and the players. The players needed help in January, not just the fans. I don't know if that story's ever come out.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the OGs. Not usually on this channel. Usually it's on my channel, Turkish LDM, but we're here live on AFTV tonight. I thought Cecil can't make it. We ain't done one in a while, Curtis, so why not just fill in the slot and make it an OG special on AFTV? What are you telling me, bro?
Yeah, all good, bro, man. I'm just chilling. I seen you know, with the lions and the elephants and that, you know what I mean? you gotta take your mind off all this transfer talk, you know. The actual season's stressful enough, never mind the transfer topic. So yeah, man, good to be here, and yeah, we'll talk about things that aren't really happening but might happen.
You're not wrong, bro. I miss it because ever since I've been back, it's the same Sesko Gyökeres debate every single day, and that's why I put the title as advancing everywhere, getting nowhere, because you know I'm still refreshing pages to see some sort of news about Saturn. Obviously, we got the Partey one, which is there's no solid foundations to it yet, but you know apparently he wants an increase in wages. I think he was already on 200k, and that's what's stalling the move rather than the years, which we initially thought. But aside from that, is the news we want to hear is actual incomings, and that actually affects the position where with Zubimendi apparently coming in, probably weakens it overall case.
Yeah, I think the excitement around Zubimendi was adding him to Thomas Partey. Partey's, I think, been one of our best players this season. And then if you're in a situation where Jorginho and Partey have gone and you've brought in Zubimendi, I'm not even sure that makes us stronger than we were last season. I think you would have to go and buy another midfielder. And we've seen in that number 6 role how expensive those guys are. You look at Caicedo and Rice and Rodri. Thomas Partey is not an easy player to replace, and I know Zubimendi has different qualities to him, but it's difficult, man, because I do kind of understand, like at the age of 32, can you really give him a pay rise with the injury record of the past? But I think the problem you've got is they're saying teams in Italy and teams in Saudi are willing to offer him more money, and naturally, if you're in a job and someone offers you more money, you go to your manager and say, can you match it? So I get it from both sides, but it wouldn't like to see him leave on a free, to be honest.
Yeah, man, we can't be weakening a position that we were already strong in. That's the thing about it, because we haven't moved elsewhere, and that's why the title is what it is. Because, bro, like, surely, listen, pessimistic at the best of times, but I always lean back on last summer, and even we done shows, and I always used to say that I'm just letting them do what they need to do, because over the last couple of years they've done what they've done, and we've had 2 title challenges. It's the closest we've just come. So this summer, the grace, here you go, you know, do what you need to do to go win the title next season, which was last season. And they proceeded to end it with Sterling deadline day, hence why I flipped deadline day, because you know it's done by then. But this summer, I'm just like, nah, you know, year 5 transfer window can't be working out the way it worked out. Then year 5.5, January window, nothing. So year 6, I'm sorry, but we need to, you know, we needed to have hit the ground running, because Arteta spoke of goosebumps. I'm going to keep on quoting that. And at the end of the day, I'm looking at Liverpool and City signings, and the goosebumps I've got is more frightened goosebumps than it is excited goosebumps, because it's like
maybe he's a Travis Scott fan, man. You know what I mean? Goosebumps.
Bro, I'm thinking right now it's looking like we're on pace for 3rd next season, if that.
Bro, do you know what? Like, I'll be honest, all right. The sun's out. I'm trying to relax, but it's difficult. We're fans and we create content. So from both points of view, you can't help but be a little bit concerned because you're seeing people are saying, "Oh yeah, but they did that because of the Club World Cup." But Liverpool were about to smash the transfer record. They got Frimpong. They're going to get Kirkes. There's rumours today they're going to go for Isak at the end of the window, and I'm like, we've spoken about Isak so many times. You know, all we heard is at the end of the season, Arsenal going to go for Isak. The minute they got Champions League, it just disappeared, and I'm like, why? Why do we never test the waters? Sometimes people say, "Oh, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, you can't get Isak because they've got Champions League." But has anyone ever put 125 million on the table and said, "Let's see how they act. Let's see how Isak acts with that offer on the table"? Sometimes you've got to get a player out of a club. It doesn't appear that he's available, but the moves you make get him out of the club. So I'm trying to go with the mindset that it's not about doing it quickest, it's about doing it the best. That's the only way I'm going to cope with this, because I remember 2 years ago we signed Havertz early in the window, and people could say, "Oh, that was," but I didn't want Havertz at Arsenal. So the problem is if they take a long time and don't bring the right players in, that's when it's like, you made us wait for that. Like, that's not enough. So I'm trying to stay calm, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think about the holidays and the sun's out, and you know what I mean? You're doing up Tarzan in the jungle and all that, you know what I mean? So, but if they make us wait and then they don't bring the right players in, we'll be
That's
out.
the worry, bro. That's the worry
That's
that it
the
all
worry.
unravels again. That's the thing for me, because
Yeah,
you know it's on the cusp. I mean, listen, the Gabriel contract is positive. I guess that's the
brilliant.
so far the only positive. But there was 3 big contracts coming into 2 years this summer: Gabriel, Saka, and Saliba. Gabriel signed, sealed, delivered now, solid, confirmed. Which is nice, but when you consider the other work that needs to be done, it's hard to really get carried away with it in isolation as well. I think there was something out today. I don't know through. I think it came out on this channel that Kivior's staying or wants to stay here as well. So that's what I want to be hearing, because we can't be replacing the players that have actually been doing their job. We need to build on the players that have been doing, and Kivior's been doing his job. If he needs to slot any slots in, that's his job. So that's positive news, I guess. But like I said, it's hard to really focus on it when it's not coupled up with at least one signing into the first team already. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the Gyökeres, I mean, I haven't spoken to you in a little while about it, but Gyökeres has obviously come out, or Fabrizio's come out and said Gyökeres prefers the move or favours the move, or is waiting for Arsenal rather than United.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? I mean, has it swayed the decision? Do you care if it's either or? Should it be both? Like, how are you looking at it at this moment in time?
I mean, I would like both. It's just probably not realistic because of how Arteta sees Kai Havertz. I think the only way you could get both is if Havertz went and then Jesus got moved on when he was back, just because of the wage structure. But listen, I've said for a long time, getting back into the Champions League and challenging for the league should mean that when you need a position in the team, you're going for the best available. And for me, I've said many times, Sesko has got a lot of potential, but potential is not what we need in the striker position. Now, sometimes potential can just blow up overnight and become a superstar out of nowhere. But surely everybody can see we need a goal scorer. And at the moment, Gyökeres is one of the number 1 goal scorers. To me, going into this summer, I said Isak, Gyökeres, Osimhen, they were the 3 for me. If it was anybody outside of those 3, I was going to be a little bit pessimistic, because they're the 3 that are banging goals in. That all, obviously, Isak's going to be difficult to get, but those are 3 that look like we were linked with. We've spoken to them before. So if it's not Isak, for me, it's got to be Gyökeres or Osimhen. So I think it's interesting that he sort of put that out there that he wants to go to Arsenal over Man United, because if Arsenal don't sign him, what does that do with the Man United move? Is it, you know what I mean? So maybe that's his agent trying to apply a little bit of pressure and just say, look, man, hurry up if you're trying to, because it looks like we're negotiating with him and Sesko, and then we're going to figure out which one we sign. So
Yeah, you still figuring shit out this late. Like, I know Berta's coming in
No.
March, but Berta should have come in, been briefed on what, surely we've been thinking about this for 18 months now. Both strikers ringing bells, different reasons, 18 months now. So this whole figuring out stuff is just, listen, on one hand, I know it's just reopened the window, but on the other hand, the team that wiped the floor with us in the league last season have improved in 2-3 areas. All right, some impact on the Trent stuff, but I mean, no one's talking about the Trent stuff anymore because of how good the replacements or the names have been in terms of 2 fullbacks. Well, Kirkes will be announced soon enough, and Bert's coming in. And then you look at City, you have the best manager around. Like, let's be real, I know Enrique is shot up in the last year, and he's done his dirt previously as well, and so on. But Guardiola is this generation's greatest, if not the greatest of all time, many say. So when you look at the signings they've made, does Shirky fit there? Guardiola makes things work because Haaland wasn't the right fit for Man City at that time. But guess what? They went on and won a treble. So even all this fit stuff for me, when people talk about fit, people then think I don't like Sesko. I don't mind Sesko. I don't really know enough about him or Gyökeres to be wholeheartedly telling people like this, that. I just need a goal scorer at this club, and one is more of a goal scorer than the other. And if both are available to come and we can do that, then even better. Maybe that is the goosebumps we speak about. But when people try and justify things, and I go back to what you were saying about Isak, I don't know. I mean, other fan bases might do this as well. I'm talking mainly online here, but don't get twisted. Fans that I go to games and friends, and we make an awful lot of excuses, and it's probably copium that does it, but it just falls right into the laps of this ownership. Because with Isak, I never understand, and this is something that happens all the time. If they make Champions, it's not just Isak, and if they make Champions League, I doubt he's going to leave the club. Broski, Isak wants to win the Premier League, win the Champions League. These players want to win. It's not about if they get in it, he's going to be content to stay. You can force a team's hand. You can entertain. You can see, test the waters and find out. I think that's what we should be doing, really, because if we want the best in that position, then Isak is the one. Now, he might not be available, right? But if you don't test the waters, then I can't really excuse you moving on to the whole Gyökeres or Sesko thing. Test the waters. Let's see what's going on. If they reject a couple bids, then all right, we have to move on because we can't dilly and dally. We need to bring in the player. We need to bring it into the position. But us making excuses for it in January, the same portion would be like, it's hard to take the best players in January. You have to pay a premium. Oh, is that right? Cool. Marmoush into City. Cool. Luis Diaz into Liverpool. Cool. We've done it ourselves with Oba. So there's examples there in the last 5, 6, 7 years that January is a window you can bring in. Oh, Kvara goes PSG. Oh, market opportunity, maybe not big enough. But we make our excuses and then we fight those excuses. Like we argue for those, and then it just sounds like you're arguing for the ownership.
Yeah.
Because that's the excuses that they make. And reality tells you otherwise because you look around and you can see others doing what apparently we cannot do. And there's no reason for it whatsoever.
Yeah. And you know what? When you speak there about strikers fitting the system and things like that, I always think with good players, man, you can adapt to other good players. Like we replace Giroud with Aubameyang. They're two totally different profiles of player. One's a target man, one's a quick poacher. But we adapted to him and it worked. Like you said, Aguero went, Haaland came in. So when a lot of people are saying Sesko fits the system better, maybe because he drops deep and links up play a little bit more. But we also have to remember this system hasn't won us a trophy in a lot of years. So maybe the system needs adapting. When Man City were being linked with Turkey, I heard a lot of people going, oh, that's not a Pep kind of player, man. He don't put... But Pep understands that sometimes you have to adapt. You've got to be adaptable. You can't just be, this is our play and every player's got to fit the exact thing. Pep probably knows, like, okay, my system didn't work last year, so I need to adapt and evolve a little bit and bring in some young players with a bit of flair who get on the ball and make things happen. So I think Arteta should actually be sitting there going, do you know what? My system has maybe got us to this point where we are, but we need to tweak it a little bit to maybe go to that next level, which is why I would love to see Arsenal get a prolific goal scorer, you know, that we haven't had since Oba left, because Jesus isn't that player, Havertz. So for me, I know some people say sometimes it's too simplistic. We need a goal scorer. Go and buy the best goal scorer available on the market. And that is at the moment not
Yeah, but
Benjamin
then
Sesko.
people that say too simplistic, they're too mathematical with it.
Yeah.
Like, bruv, like what? You're jumping through hoops to try justify. And then when the question comes, do you think he hits the ground running? The answer more time from these, you know, mathematicians out there is no. He's gonna need time. That's the
Yeah.
point. That is the point. It's not that I don't like Sesko. Sesko intrigues me. Gyökeres
Yeah.
excites me. And for me, that's a difference. You can get both because that'll help for sure. Goosebumps and all of that. We've bought 2 left backs and 2 goalkeepers in same windows and all of this other positions, 6 over the 3. So why can't we buy 2 strikers all of a sudden? That's some of the next we can't do that. 2 strikers, who does that? Who fucking buys 6 and 7 goalkeepers and left backs in 4 years? Us as well.
Yeah.
But like for me, all this algebra people are there, and to make it make sense with Sesko, I get it. Sesko's a good young player. He might be the next up in 2 years. You know, whether we get him or not, we might look back at this and say, "Oh, look what he turned into." But it's what happens in those 2 years, because if you don't win something in those 2 years, we'll be saying, "Oh, look what he turned into," while Saliba's winning something over in Madrid. I mean, Saka, I think he will sign a contract, but even you know, the contracts of Lewis Skelly and Ethan, like they're not sorted yet either. So even the contract situations right now need ironing out. So as much, okay, let me ask you a question. Bert has come in. Josh and Mikel have been here. Obviously, they've been here. Like, so far, who do you look at as the reason for this, or is there a this that there needs a reason? Because by that I mean, are they comfy? Are they sitting back? This is the plan. Let's see how the market unfolds. Or do you think it's slow for a particular, like, who do you think is the man that is in, you know, what you're looking at now and saying, yo, you need to start sorting shit out? Is it Mikel, Bert, or is it Josh?
Do you know what? I think it's a collective, bro, because I think when you look at it, Berta has walked in and we've had to negotiate Gabriel. We still haven't got Saliba signed. We still haven't got Saka signed. They're big issues if we don't get them sorted. Do you know what I mean? That's some of our main players. You've then got the Partey situation, which, as we've spoken about already, that doesn't look certain. Then you're asking him to go and sign maybe 5 or 6 players. We've also heard that he has this thing of like negotiating maybe 2 or 3 players in each position. So can you imagine how much work Berta's doing on a daily basis? Like, Sesko, okay, they've said this today. Gyökeres has said this. Oh, yeah, I've had a word with Saliba about his contract. We're talking to this. He's probably doing so much at once, but you would have expected a lot of this to have been done before he even came in. I think ultimately for me, Turkish, everything goes to the ownership at the end of the day. They have to be the biggest culprits because they own the whole football club. And Berta must be working within certain constraints. We want to pay this much money. We want to pay it over this period of time. And, you know, this is a guy that's been ruthless at Atletico Madrid with the deals he's done. I'm sure he doesn't want to come to Arsenal and start penny pinching and dragging things out into the market and things like that. And let's be honest. I mean, someone said it there. Josh said, be excited, right? Since they've taken full ownership, you would argue really Declan Rice is the only signing that had us kind of getting a little bit like, yo, 100 million, we got him off City. Like, and that's not saying we haven't signed good players, because we have, like Gabriel's and that. But at the time, we didn't really know how good they were. So when have we really flexed our muscle under this ownership, apart from Declan Rice? And when have we gone there and said, yo, best striker available on the market, we're going to get him? Do you know what I mean? Liverpool have lost Trent. They've replaced him with Frimpong, but they've probably looked at Frimpong and gone, creativity is not there. He's a different kind of right back. So we need a creative player. They've looked to the market. Florian Wirtz, one of the best young creative players in the world, proven as well already. They've probably paid more than most people would rate him at, but they're not worrying about it. They're saying, yo, we didn't spend last year, bang, this year we're going big. Straight out the blocks. Madrid wanted him, City wanted him, Bayern wanted him. no messing about. Deal done. Kirkes, then they're saying, yo, once that happens, and now Darwin's being linked with Napoli, there could be money there for a striker. So if we don't sort ourselves out and get the right signings before that season's even started, you could be sitting there going, boy, man, look at what Liverpool have done there. How are we going to compete with that? They've already won the league and they've built on top of it. Pepe was one as well, by the way. Yeah, I forgot about Pepe. But that, you know, that. But even Pepe, bro, the manager didn't want him. He wanted Zaha, he got Pepe. So sometimes it's not about spending the money, it's about spending the money the right way. So as I said, for me, I'm trying to cope with it by saying, let's see what players we get rather than how quickly, because we need to get the right players. You know, if they announce Kepa and a striker who we didn't want, I'd rather wait and hope that they get the right one. It's just, this isn't a one-off with Arsenal. So a lot of people have been messaging me in the comments, oh, calm down, we're only 17 days in. But I'm going, yeah, but we are 17 days in. And there was signings being announced in May. And also, Arsenal have done this year after year after year. This isn't a one-off. It was a one-off, you could go, oh, it's just a one-off. But we've seen it a lot of times. So they just need to be careful, is what I would say. I think the fans need a lift. I think they need somebody to lift them and go, okay, that signing gives us real belief that something's going to happen.
It's not really, I mean, it's not 17. Look, it's funny. These arguments are just nonsensical. Like, it's not 17 days. It's 6 years if we're talking Mikel or be excited. It's not 17 days. It's 20 years if we're talking since the last, major trophy, the Premier League. It's not 17 days. It's, 19 years since we moved into the Emirates and were sold, that we have to set up. We can all put a different, accumulation of time to this. But the reality is, it's far from 17 days. That is the biggest, lie you can tell about the reality of the situation, because groundwork needs to be done prior. I'm not necessarily saying these men have to be holding up the shirts, but it'd be nice that we are very particular and direct in what we want. And if that was to be Sesko, then cool. I think there's a lot more risk to that than Gyökeres, but at least that indicates that there's a plan being executed, not let's see what we can do. And we've seen what we can do in many a window in the Emirates era. And more often than not, we've only had one window in the Emirates era we've been happy with. One window, one summer window we've been happy with. And even January, maybe 1 January, the one that Oba come in and Giroud left. That's probably the two windows that we've ever been happy with, like wholeheartedly happy, where we think, okay, we've done what we need to do in this window for what we need to achieve. Obviously, it didn't work out with Oba getting us top 4, but we've brought a striker in that's a proper striker in behind striker.
And even the Oba window, I think, was that the Sanchez to United. So it was like a reaction, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Besides, someone saying Ben Jacobs talking about Rodrigo.
Yeah, I'm just reading it now. They hold an interest, exploratory talks. Madrid want 90 million euros. I mean,
I knew that 3 weeks ago. I'm not an agent. I know they want 90 million. Come on, man. Is Ben the one you get on your channel?
Yeah. So I won't say.
Let me rush that live next time, man. Let me give me the link. What kind of update is that, bro? Man, I'm about to update the same thing. I'm about to start trolling on Twitter.
I was gonna say Turkish London update. Do you know what it is now, bro? If you look, today was a very quiet news day, wasn't it? You know what I mean? I was looking online today. I was like, "Raw, there's nothing today."
So quiet, yeah.
The people are like, "Yo, let's get the same story out, reword it, and put it out." You know how the game goes, bro. You know how the game goes. So
yeah, it's the first day I've seen that we're not advancing on something, because literally for the first 15 days of June we were advancing on everything, and we're still here where we are, bro. We're still where we are. Listen, just bid. Isak, bid 150. If they say no, cool. Move on.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, bid 90. If they say no, okay, why? Not interested? Let's move on. Remember, we was waiting for Nico Williams. But we wasn't waiting for no week. Why do we fans make the excuses for them? Did they come out and say we're waiting for Nico Williams? They didn't. But we have a pocket that will create the protection for these things. Oh, we're waiting for Sesko, man. Why are we gonna? What was it? Keep your powder. We're keeping our powder dry, bro. We're keeping our powder dry, and we're waiting for Sesko, waiting for Williams. But it comes and We haven't made a bid for Sesko. So what's that all about? Williams, oh, it looks like Barca, maybe Bayern, probably Barca. We make these things up. So on top of the bullshit they're doing, we have pockets of fans online, especially, and like I said, people day to day, friends, even friends of mine, that will make this layer of protection for some bullshit, and you're doing their job. You're being the perfect customer when you do that, because you're not being the perfect fan, because that's custom. You're protecting the you know their you're protecting their decisions, and their decisions haven't yielded the Premier League title for 19 years, and it hasn't yielded the Premier League title in the last 5 years, the last 2 years. Like, so at the end of the day, there's no point in protecting the bullshit anymore. This is the season. I always say this: whether you love Mikel or you don't, or you're fed up of him, the owners are the ones we need to be looking at. Do you get it? Because if you think he's been here too long and more than 5 years, come on, it should have been 4. Then why haven't the owner? In fact, why did the ownership give a new contract, making him top 3? You know, that's a big question. Or if you think he is the one and you've been riding the train for the last 4 years, chewing and all of that, yeah, then you need him to win in this year. So look at the owners and say, yo, is it you lot holding my guy back? Like, what's going on here? But everyone just wants to protect the bullshit, and then it unravels, and then they're protecting the next bullshit. Sesko's young. He never bagged 20. Why are you going to expect that? This is what I'm going to hear next May.
And that's the worry, in it, bro. It was like, if we get Sesko and he doesn't do what we need, which is understandable, people will go, well, he needs time to settle in. And then we'll be sitting here in 12 months' time, finishing second or third, going, oh yeah, but now Sesko's settled, man, this is our year. And we haven't got time for that. Sometimes you've got to look at what people are doing, what is working. And you look at City and Liverpool, especially Liverpool in this window, like, they've won the league. They could have sat there and gone, oh, we've won the league. We don't need to do much. They're going, yo, we need to now go and dominate. 120 million or whatever for Wirtz. When City need a player, when they needed a striker after Aguero, they said, we'll wait 1 year to get the very best striker available that we believe we can get, which was Haaland. Now, we needed a striker last summer, to be honest, but they were trying to get Sesko last summer, didn't get him, and then just didn't do anything else. You've then didn't get a striker in January that might have cost us a Champions League. You never know. New striker might have scored. We beat PSG. Who knows? Or Kvaratskhelia, we should have gone for, who's a game changer of a left winger. And then this summer, it looks like you're going to go for Sesko again. So you've waited 3 transfer windows to bring in a guy that is unproven. And then the expectation from the fan base is going to be, this guy needs to get us over the finish line. That we're within our rights to expect that. You're the striker we've waited years for. And then if this guy doesn't bang and get us over the finish line, they'll say, well, he's only 22. He needs to learn the language, acclimatise to the league. You know, they're saying Havertz will start. And for me, I stand by it. And obviously there's no factual evidence, but I think he wants Sesko because of Havertz, and I stand by that. I think this manager spent so much money on Kai Havertz and wages that bringing in a Gyökeres, bringing in an Isak, bringing in an Osimhen, that finishes him as a striker. Now he's on the bench. Now people are going, well, you wasted all that money on Havertz. If he brings in a Sesko who's young, hasn't really done it at the top level consistently, he can rotate Havertz, he can rotate Sesko, keep everyone happy, and try and get a collective 20, 30 league goals out of both of them. Where someone like Gyökeres is going to go, bro, I'm the hottest striker in Europe. You got to play me every week. I don't think he wants that pressure. That's what I think.
That wouldn't be surprising, if I'm honest with you. More to keep the harmony than anything, because he did spend a lot of money. But I think part of great leadership is realizing your mistakes, and the earlier you realize your mistakes, the sooner you can rectify those mistakes. I really believe that. Like that's why I look at other clubs and I see it happen all the time. Like even Bert has dealt with mistakes made at Atletico. I think Jackson Martinez is one. I think Felix is one. But the common thread over there is within 2 years, them players are pretty much either out, or the fans and the club know that this hasn't worked out. It's time to start moving them on. And, he recoups what he recoups. Liverpool, Nunes.
Yeah.
PSG, Kolo Muani, 18 months after an 80 million transfer, he's on loan at Juventus. Now, I know different money and whatnot, but people shouldn't get it twisted. Kroenkes are billionaires. When people talk about, these clubs and our owners are billionaires, again, that's more excuse that they're not billionaires to that level, right? And to the best, I haven't seen the list in a long time, but I do know Kroenkes are top 5, top 8 in the world max in terms of owners and the money they have. We're looking around at other clubs doing, learning from their mistakes quickly. We can't dwell on them. Because we've seen what it cost us in the past. It cost us a Van Persie, it cost us a Sanchez, it cost us a Fabregas. The greatest players in terms of quality that have played in this Emirates era, they've literally all left because of a lack of ambition or quality around them. Too much dilly-dallying. I want to go win now. Like, I can't wait another 2 years for this guy or that guy or you lot. Like, it just feels like that's coming again, and that's why I'm so adamant that, especially this summer, I'm going to bang on about this. I'm going to bang on. If you don't, people don't. Well, there's 3K here, so I don't know what portion of that 3K is enjoying this, but it is Moan Central. Since I've been back, I've done Supporters Club out soon. Moan. Me, Chris Hudson, and Jack. Look out for that. I've done Gunners Unfiltered with Robbie. Moan. Look out for that. OGs live on AFTV. What are we doing now? What am I doing? Moaning. I ask someone, give me something positive to talk about, and we'll talk about it right now. We've got 22 minutes left. Someone just give me something to talk about that we can smile and laugh about. I will wait. Can you give me something, Curtis?
There's some new training kit out. It's not too bad.
And bro, I said the training kit. When did that drop yesterday, innit?
Yeah, man. Hey, they never let you down with the training kit, bro. You know what I mean? We're gonna look good coming second in the league anyway. That's for sure.
They deliver there. They don't advance on that one. They're delivering that week in, week out. Deliver. Yeah, bro. But that's it. I mean, our kits are looking nice. Anything else? Look, people are struggling in the comments. There's 3,000 of you here. Give me something nice and good to talk about. 3,000 of you. Let me do the super chats while you lot think.
The super chats, yeah.
Big up Suj early on, and big up Turkish and Curtis. Hit the likes, people. Come on, Suj. Hope you're well, bro. Ika says Don said stay calm last season. Look what happened. Well, what does that tell you? Seal says, listen, whether it's Sesko, Gyökeres, or Robbie leading the line for us next season, the expectations don't change. Either win a title or Arteta out. And ultimately, I mean, it does come down to, do what do whatever you're doing, because you know what you need to deliver next season. But I felt that last season, and excuses, Cole PM came into it, and here we are talking the same talk for next season. Lee says, big up OGs. Want to ask how you both feel about the entire Sesko push and how so many of our fans have conceded to potential over ability. So many positivity merchants trying to force the Sesko thing. Well, I've kind of given my thoughts on that, Curtis. But yeah, I mean, you see the same thing.
For me, it's, if Arteta wants him, you will soon see that mentality filter onto online fans. And that's where I think being a fan nowadays has gone a bit crazy. Like, people think that you're not a proper fan if you question or don't agree with something that the club's doing. You're allowed to disagree. If you prefer Gyökeres to Sesko, there's no problem with that. He's way more proven. But because the stories are Arteta prefers Sesko, people are going, oh, Sesko fits the system better and this, that, the other. And I'm like,
Yeah. Lee, I mean, listen, me and you have spoken like this quite a long time now, and it's hard to really understand the reasoning behind the hives. Again, I flipped about the hives on Supporters Club, because once upon a time it was only Beyonce that had a hive. Now Arteta has one, Havertz has one. Like everyone's getting a hive. Like, I understood it with Beyonce. I thought, she's done dirt for how many years? She's number ones. I get it. There's a cult following. Hive, yeah, Beehive. Nice play on words. We got Kai Hive, Mikel Hive. We got so many hives now, bro. We're getting stung all over the gaff, bro. These hives ain't good ones, that's for sure. Louis says, as a South African living in London, you made me nostalgic. Love for showing its beauty. On Arsenal, we must be the most amateur big club and a social club under the guise of being a football club. Yeah, first things first, South Africa again, big up, love for the love. I can't wait for the content to come out. It was probably the best place I've ever visited, all in. And I will be back within the next year, that's for sure. Not sure where yet in particular, but yeah, I got guys in Joburg, I got guys in Cape Town as well who flew over. So we'll see. But yeah, on the amateur football club stuff and the way we are run off the pitch. Amateur's the wrong word. That's I just lean on Arsenal Football Company off the pitch. The club we follow on the pitch are backed by the company off the pitch. And really, there's a big difference in how you look at a company and how you look at a club. And, everyone that's been bought in, Curtis, stop me if I'm wrong, but the Richard Garlicks and even the Ato who's gone now, but they all have, and this Tim, whatever, is it Tim Satin? I don't know what. Tim Lewis.
Yeah.
All of them have more of a law, business, financial background than they do. That's why Berta is also so refreshing, because he's actually a football man coming into the side. But in terms of the middlemen from Arteta Berta to Kroenke and Kroenke to Arteta Berta, the Tim Lewises and whoever else, their first mind is company. Their first mind is not let's win, let's lessen the risks. All that money there might be a bit too risky. Can we still make Champions League without spending? That's the questions that these men will ask, rather than we need to go win the Champions League, because in the Club World Cup you can make 200 mil. If you, they ain't asking that question. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what my question is, bro. But just moaning.
Pletty Goal just tweeted that Leipzig won 80 million euros for Sesko. Arsenal not willing to pay.
Bro, 80 million euros wasn't that what they wanted 2 months ago?
It changes every day, bro.
Isn't that like 65 million pounds?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's have a look.
Again, but what are these men on? Ben Jacobs and Plettyberg or whatever his name is, man. We knew this. We knew this.
Man said Plettyberg. Man's a Swedish midfielder.
What's his name, bro? Isn't that his name?
Oh, dear. Oh, yeah, it is actually Plettenberg. Yo, yeah, it is. You're right, actually. My bad.
What, I'm right.
Yeah, you're right. I'll let you off.
That's not Plettenberg, no?
Yeah, Plettenberg. It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It is. No, that's a banger.
Plettenberg. We got Miles. 2 super chats here from Miles. I'd be happy with Watkins and we blow the rest of the budget on Rodrigo. Thoughts? Rodrigo softens every other signing we make, even if it is underwhelming, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Rodrigo's a game changer. Do you know the thing? If we sign Watkins, though, I'll be sitting there going, well, why didn't you buy him in January?
Yeah.
Because not enough is made of the fact that they didn't buy anybody in January. They potentially just cost us a Champions League. We'll never know. Yeah. Because I think if Kvaratskhelia signed for Arsenal, I think we'd have beat PSG. Bear in mind, he's not in their team and he's in our team.
Yeah.
I think we'd have beat him. We'd have taken one of them chances. It's just like, but no, Ollie Watkins, man, I'm sorry, in year 6. That's not cutting it, bro.
Not the one. It's not the one. I'm with you on that. As much as the Rodrigo one softens it, and that's the the one we focus on.
Yeah,
it is the it'll be underwhelming for Watkins to be the main man. Albeit it could work, but really it's about galvanizing the side now, not just having the players also look and say, "What, Watkins?"
Yeah.
What's going on here? Big up Red Dust. If you're an Arsenal player watching PSG, Madrid, City, Liverpool moving in the market, players and elite players snubbing the manager and his unproven system, are you sure to commit your long-term future to the club?
That's a great point, man, because let's be real. If you're Saliba right now, you're looking first, aren't you, and saying, let's see how they move. And we've seen these stories before, man. Van Persie. I wanted to see who they were signing. Didn't like it, got out of there. So Saliba and them, they need to see quality players coming through the door. I don't know if you've seen Declan Rice. He's liking all of Gyökeres pictures.
Oh, is
These
it?
man, yeah, man. These man know they're watching. They know they want to see quality players come in. You know what I mean?
But he's not. Isn't he liking Sesko's pictures?
Not from what I've seen, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, the mathematicians ain't gonna like that one.
They won't like that one.
Right, someone go tell Declan he's a better fit. Someone let Declan know Sesko is the better fit because I don't know what he does, but he's the better fit. I don't think Declan knows, bro.
You know, Pep got a 6'4" striker, so Sesko's 6'5", innit? So that
one better. That's our
one
trophy.
better.
Tallest striker in the league. Oh, mate. Ryan, they got Red Dust. Ryan says, lads, Mendy will be the main signing and we'll end up with Watkins and Kepa. Watkins and Kepa. Bro, let me not even say what happens if we get that with Watkins and Kepa. Why haven't we announced Zuba yet? They are holding him off for a big song and dance. Also, tell Robbie to stop transfer daily. It's depressing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie here. You know, over the years, transfer daily, even when we haven't signed players, I've been on board with it. Like, you know what? It's a staple of the transfer window. But there's something about this window. And you know what? You know when he says the link where it's from, I'm like, who? You know what I mean? Today he's like, Dusan Vlahovic from Frigid. I'm like, who?
Well, one day he's going to come out and say, we've got these reports from an outlet called DR Sports that were linked. But I'm waiting for that day, bro. I'm telling you. He's going to come out. He's going to use his own links on another channel and say, yeah, we're linked.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Transfer daily is like, you're going to look back at it as like an urban legend. Like, you're going to look back at it. Did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, did what people say? Like, how many days in a row? How many players? And then we end up with just Czech one summer, or we just end up with Sterling on deadline day. Oh my god.
It's a madness.
It's Costa saying even Robbie is starting to get frustrated with this window. Pre-season will be here before we know it, and we need our new attackers in an Arsenal shirt, not in August. Ideally, yeah. I mean, even Arteta said we need to be proactive in the windows. I don't forget these words because at the time I backed Arteta when other people were trying to get onto him. And I said, look, he's saying the right things. He's saying that we need to be winning the majors. He's saying that don't be satisfied with second place. He's saying that you need to be proactive in windows.
Yeah.
But then he started saying he spoke to Sterling for 10 seconds and he knew he was the guy. And he started saying that these owners are backing me no end and we don't need a striker in January. Bang, we need a striker in this season. He's gone off the boil a little bit. Ben says, you're correct, Curtis. He's going to die by the Havertz Hill. No doubt about it. You know, Sesko is the one we are getting in. I mean, nowhere to hide next season for anyone. Delicious market, delicious window. The guy that scored 90 and 100 has said he wants to join Arsenal. So whatever decisions we make from here, if they don't yield the Premier League title or the Champions League, which I'm not going to, luck of the draw, then I think accountability come end the next season.
Yeah, definitely.
Michael here says, Kai talk is conspiracy as far as I'm concerned. Mikel wants Havertz to make excuses when he doesn't win. Serious accusation to make. You're basically suggesting he actively wants to lose. Maybe he believes Sesko is better. Very simple. None of us have suggested that.
No.
We're not saying he wants Havertz to play so he knows we are not good enough. It's more Havertz plays for either being stubborn in the decision made or being stubborn in the decision made. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. He wants to prove that big money signing was correct. It didn't work in midfield. He put him up front. And he's thinking, you heard all the talk. Oh, he's a beast. He's come back and broke records on the training ground and the gym, and he's put weight on and all that. So I'm not suggesting he wants to lose. I'm sure he wants to win, but he wants to win his way. And his way at the moment isn't working. So I think he needs to maybe adapt.
Gunnar Shabs, do you think Partey's contract is related to why Berta not done the final push on the striker yet? Because we need to replace him too if he goes spread the money. again, all of this stuff for me as well. Some of the things I don't understand. Yeah, if I put myself in these people's shoes, right? 2025, right? I can message one person here, call someone here. Or guess what? I don't even need to. I can call Partey or his agent, or I could bring them into the office, and all I need is hour max, and we can just come to a somewhat conclusion. At least we know what each other the limits are, if not something signed. Then you move on to the next. Why are these men working 1 hour a day, 3 days a week? Like, call a fucking striker, call Partey's agent, call Lewis, whatever. Do what you need to do. You're being paid enough. 9-hour shift a day. I want them in the office by the phones, multiple phones, laptops, computers. Sort the things out. Now, we give them too much grace sometimes and make their job harder than it really is. Find out, does the player have any interest in joining? Or you do. All right, so find out what you need to do. With Williams, we didn't do that. With Sesko, we've been waiting 3 windows. So I don't buy this whole, like, is this stopping this? Or is that, nah, bro, these men are paid millions. Get the job done. There are men working 9-10 hour shifts on road, you know, doing multiple types of jobs, day in, day out, here, everywhere across the world. But I'm meant to excuse the people being paid millions and say, oh, do you think this one thing is getting in front of the other? Do your job. Call who you need to call. You have 40 minutes lunch. You have 40-minute lunch break, bro. What is this? No, I lied. In the real world, it's like that, no? You get 40-minute lunch, and for the rest of it, what are you doing? 8 hours 20. Clock in, clock out.
I think the Partey one's looking a bit shaky now, isn't it? Because I remember Arteta saying he wanted it done at the end of the season. So the fact it's dragged to the middle of June, and now we're hearing he wants a pay rise and stuff like that.
I expect he would ask for a pay rise. I don't agree with it though, but that's with the position we left ourselves in. Because he's on 200, isn't it? So a pay rise would be 250s probably, or 220 minimum. Nah, man, come on, brother. Seriously.
Yeah.
Ban Todd says, Curtis, I told you the other day, and I'll say it again. We're getting both Sesko and Gyökeres. Trust me, you guys will have to revisit my comments.
Okay. I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if that happens.
Yeah, I'll remember this comment if it does happen. Big up Highbury Ultra. Also a hive that despises Mikel and wants him to fail at the detriment of the club, just so they're proven right. For what reason, I don't know. So it goes both ways. It doesn't, brother, because you are right. Firstly, you can't call that side a hive, because a hive is different. The connotation of it or the meaning of it is different in this. But I know what you're saying. And the number that make excuses and jump through hoops to find reasoning behind the madness or the nonsense far outweighs the group, the people you're describing here, far outweighs it. Here you're talking about the people that might want their opinion to be right over everything. And there's, to be honest with you, there might be a handful at best I see, or I know, or I think of. Whereas with the ones that make everything a bed of roses and butterflies coming out of arses and shit, it's like there's millions of them. So it doesn't really work both ways, and both sides antagonize each other. Let's be real with that one as well, because of the nonsense. And I think it does start with that side first. I think that side breeds that side, and then now we're in there's a war. And it's the positive against negative, and both sides want their opinions to be correct, because then they can throw shit at the other side, whether that's 3 points on a Saturday or whether that's no league title come the end of it for one side.
Bro, we just need to win. Like I always say, like, I don't even care that much about the manager, bro. Like, to be honest, it's more about the club and the players, but the manager's obviously in control of a lot of it. If you're a massive Arteta fan, you probably need to focus more on the team. And if you're not a fan of Arteta, you need to focus more on the team. We don't need, as fans, to all get along, but we all need to want the same outcome.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out how we achieve that outcome and what needs to change for that to happen. And that for me is the biggest problem. I don't need to be friends with all the Arsenal fan base. We've probably been fractured as a fan base since Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're still not back together since. So if we don't all get along as a fan base, cool, but we all need to want the same thing. That's it.
100 completely aligned on that one thing. Forget everything else. But it doesn't work like that. Everyone wants to get their 2 pence in and get their low blows in. Carnage says, why are we going for Benjamin Tesco and the Swedish bodybuilder? The only strikers we should be in for are Osherman and Isak. Absolutely disgusting. But we've excused our way out of the Isak stuff, and it looks like Liverpool might be interested now. But like Curtis said at the beginning, if Liverpool go do that, or if Liverpool test the waters, then shame on Arsenal yet again. But we're too soon on that, and to be honest, it doesn't sound like something Liverpool. Firstly, what Liverpool done with Wirtz was out of the blue, kind of. To do that, double up on it, and get an even bigger signing, in my opinion, I'd be very surprised. Very surprised. But Liverpool have already left our realm in terms of off the pitch. We often look at Liverpool and say that's how we'll run. They've just shown ambition that we've never shown with that Wirtz signing. That's what they've done. We've never shown that way of showing ambition. We've never done that. I'm sorry, Rice, 100 mil, big signing, love the player, but we're talking attacking players that really make the difference, in the tightest of games now. Babatunde says, I'm tired of being an Arsenal fan. I may join Mbappe in Madrid soon. I'm not English, but I have been a fan since 98. Time is running out. Need to be happy. I mean, listen, I'm born, bred in England, London, round the corner. There's no entertaining other clubs for me. But I listen, outside looking in, when I used to love NBA, Pacers were my team, but I also like Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson. There were two players I'd also follow, like, the Sixers and Nuggets and whatnot, because of certain players. And I've still got my Pacers jersey, by the way. Where is it? They might be in a championship this year.
What, Reggie Miller?
No, I got O'Neal. I got O'Neal.
Oh, you got O'Neal.
I used to like O'Neal, O'Neal had a couple seasons, but
at the Pacers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked my bedroom supported Pistons, and remember that big brawl they had, Ron Artest, the fans. I thought, this is my team. I love this. This is passion.
You saw that aggression and thought, that's me, innit?
Love that.
What I mean?
Love
that. Bro, I thought I was Allen Iverson school days, bro. Headband.
I still see it now, though, bro. If someone brings Allen Iverson,
you know what I mean? I thought I was AI, bro, back in the day, because I knew football was, it can't be football all the time, you know what I mean? So,
I hear it. What is it? It was 2-2 last time I see the Pacers.
3-2 now, I think. Okay.
Pacers?
No, they lost.
Come on, man. Cool. Well, I'm about to change this AFTV to NBA Live.
Man's going to finish second in the basketball, you know what I mean? Second in football. It's
all
mad,
mad, man. I've even taken on Pirates in South Africa, and they finished second in the league as well. So Fenerbahce second. Well, don't even. Daniel says no one in January got their main man. No one in January to get the main man in summer. Get to summer, and apparently we still don't know who we want. We'll end up with Watkins at this rate. Yep. Bang on. Heat says another season where we are going to leave it too late, panic, and buy Watkins and Semenyo. This is not going to end well. It's not, people. Like, it's, there's very little we can do from now until game week 1 and September 1st that makes me believe that we are a better place to win it than Liverpool or City, because of the moves they've made so far and the intent of those moves. So I'm already saying we ain't winning the league next year. Oh, but you can't say that 17 days. I can. We're not going to buy Isak. We're not going to buy Rodrigo. They are dreams. And also haven't really, they've only 2-3 times made dreams a reality. Ozil, Sanchez, and Oba, probably. Maria says, typical Arsenal fashion, will end up spending the window chasing Sesko and Gyökeres, then end up not getting them, but get Vlahovic on loan instead. Vlahovic, that old chestnut. Gubby says, how can we risk losing targets over a stalling for a couple mil? Liverpool didn't risk Wirtz, they moved fast. We always lose out because of this shit. Yep, dilly-dallying, penny pinching. That's the Kroenke. Yeah. Richard says, Turkish and Curtis, I'm as frustrated as you guys. I'm annoyed at our manager with him being stubborn. Only good news so far, Gabriel has signed to 2029. Yeah, that is the only good news so far, brother. But yeah, big up for the super chat. Suj says, watching Carmelo play the Celtics at the Madison Square Garden on Christmas Day was special. Oh, sorry, this is football talk. Apologies. Listen, the way Arsenal are moving, I might bring NBA to my channel real soon.
For real.
I had these ones saved from earlier. Doom and gloom of AFTV. But Elk says the dynamic duo right here, the realest voices, a bit of yin and a bit of yang.
There you go, balance, you know.
Trust me. I mean, I think you should change your name, brother, because I don't feel comfortable reading out this name. But he says you guys create a negative fan base just for likes and clicks. No, the club do that without signing players and releasing merchandise after merchandise after merchandise after merchandise. But yeah, blame us. Ryan says, big up the original OGs. I'm fed up and it's only June. 30 years deep in this transfer bullshit and I've seen it all. We have seen it all. Do you think we'll buy more than 3 players, Curtis?
Yeah, I think we'll. I think Zubimendi and Kepa, striker, and then probably a winger and a defender. Maybe another midfielder. So we have to.
Whoa. You're asking a bit much of this club.
I'm not saying they're all going to be great players, but you know what I mean? I think we'll sign more than 3.
What's El Nene doing, bro? We might get him back, bro. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, on loan or something.
Don Lee Mason says, be patient, Turkish. At least that's what Robbie said. Robbie's still being patient from betting me Eddie will score 10 league goals, bro. That was 3 years ago, bro. His head's in the clouds. He's over in Cannes now, living life. Etiosa says, Marmouche 70, Alvarez 80. When will we learn? If we sell Havertz, everything starts falling in place. Well, it looks like we either win with Havertz or that's the next manager's job to sell him. Ekatike or Sesko, and what winger if not Rodrigo? Big up Fam Zone TV. I don't know if you've seen Fam Zone TV, Curtis, or the subscribers. A relatively newish channel in the community, not just Arsenal based, but I see a video of his today, I think it was, and mentioning Delap, and I'd put Delap in the same bracket as these names will be that are being mentioned there. Young striker that's shown potential, and maybe you give them a chance next up, you know. So Ekatike, Sesko, Delap, I mean, I see them all as, if we were to get any one of them, it should be complementing a Gyökeres or an Isak. But then the reality comes in that Arsenal don't do that shit. So if we get one of them, that's going to be our number 9, and we're going to Salmon until we realize whether it's the one or not. So for me, the lapse in that's about the lapse gone Chelsea, 30 mil.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But Ekatike or Sesko, if you had to pick one.
That's not a good choice, is it? Like, I don't even. Ekatike, I haven't even seen that. When I saw him, he was playing wide a little bit. I seen him do the Henry knee slide. I like that, but boy, man, the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't really want any of them, to be honest.
I hear you. I actually get that answer because you pick one and then it's tied to your bro. All I said years ago, was Daka is a better backup than Eddie and Nketiah. You know, that's all I said. I said,
see that video so many times.
Let's have a better backup. Yeah, to this day, people say I wanted Daka.
That's why you gotta be careful,
like, bro. He's better than Eddie, bro. Like, I didn't say let's go and outbid. What are we doing here? I get you. You don't want to.
You gotta be careful, man. No, I'm not committing to none of them. You know what I mean? What about the winger? Who do you want if not Rodrigo?
He went in January. I think that's how far the fall off is after Rodrigo. I think you're talking Leao, Williams, Lookman after Rodrigo, and I wouldn't be as excited about those 3 as I would be Rodrigo.
Yeah.
And Williams actually. Now, I mean, Barca are probably gonna wrap that up. So it's Lookman or Leao, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe Barcola.
Yeah.
But
Barcola's a shot actually. I'd put him in the list.
Yeah.
If Liverpool get Isak, just forget about the season. We might need to forget about it anyway. He's never said he doesn't want a striker. On that note, okay, just so you know, what I mean by that is, for the first 2 weeks of the transfer window, when asked about the striker situation and need for goals, Arteta would argue against it. I remember Charles Watts mentioning the need for a striker, and everyone's been saying it. And I remember Arteta mentioning back that in 2024 we scored the most goals. So is that really what we need? And then Jesus gets injured against United after we're out of the FA Cup, after we've lost the first leg against Newcastle. and he says we need a striker. So yes, from that day, Arteta admitted we need the striker for 2 weeks of it, because I don't like how people say Arteta for the whole window. No, he tried to cover the bullshit up. He tried for 2 weeks. He argued with Charles Watts about 24 goals, but then he changed his tune.
Yeah.
Big up Turkish and Curtis, bro. How is Arteta so relaxed? It's like the Kroenkes promised him a lifetime contract, no pressure. Well, Wenger was quite relaxed as well, but at least he earned it. Marcos says Jermaine O'Neal on the Pacers was an absolute problem. Dude could do it all. That's an elite jersey. I'm a Knicks fan, so screw the Pacers and the Heat. Yeah, Jermaine was a unique big man. He could dribble, he could run with it, he could post up, he could hit. Well, and he wasn't the best 3-point shooter, but he could hit long range. That's why I liked him. And everyone at that time liked KG, Timberwolves, and Tim Duncan. The Duncan and KG were the guys. So I went for the other guy.
For the other one.
Even Ben Wallace at Detroit, he was. Let me not even go back. We'll make this an NBA team. We're already past 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Brandon says our club's not waiting till the new financial year to now. You see, this is another thing with the bullshit. With,
July the 1st.
All of a sudden, we're all waiting for financial year. Sorry, Brandon, I don't mean you per se, but I mean this is the nonsense that comes out financial years and sign new players. Well, wasn't City and Leon waiting for it, or Liverpool and Bayern Leverkusen, or what's going on there? Because you don't necessarily, like with Zubimendi, we're pretty certain with that. We talk about him like a new signing.
Yeah.
To get to that level with, even if it is financial year, get to that level with a few of these players where we know once the financial year kicks in, if it is that, bang, they're in.
Yeah.
So I can't correct you if you're wrong. Maybe there is a part to play there, Brandon, but the reality is it's just an excuse. Thoughts on the recent links with Isak to Liverpool? If he's available, Arsenal should be here, there, and everywhere. However, don't think we'll be advanced until August 2027. Bro, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And Liverpool look intent on doing some damage. Now they've won their second Premier League title, matched up 20 with United, kept 2 of their best players. Yeah, it's not looking good. Partey is on holiday in Ghana at the moment. His extension will be announced when he's back. Cool. I remember you said that as well. Are you some in the know or something? Like, what's going on there? Like, what did he see?
What did he say? We'll sign both strikers, didn't he? Now he's saying Partey when he's back. These men don't need to be in the country to sign contracts, bro.
Yeah, bro. In this day and age, bro. I can sign a contract now. What's it? DocuSign, bro. Send the DocuSign,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
African Soldier says, big up the OGs. I'm at the point where I'm rooting for Arsenal to finish mid-table. Maybe Arteta will get the sack and the owners will be serious. I mean that's very far to root for it. I understand the point behind it, but listen, we root for success. We root for, if you are pessimistic like me, I root for being wrong. I root for Havertz scoring 20 league goals if he starts the season. I root for Odegaard to pick up the form again, and him and Havertz break the combination record. Is it Son and Kane or Drogba and Lampard? I root for all the things that were at the end of the season. I hold my hands up and say, wow. But then you end up bitterly disappointed. So I know you're trying to soften the blow there. But yeah, Random Clip says, with the last super chat of the night, I'm really getting the feeling that he's looking to have Havertz as the main man and is looking for a backup. Berta is probably the one pushing for Gyökeres. More fool him, if that is the case. More fool him. That's all I can say on that one, Curtis. I don't know if you want to add your piece on if Havertz starts the season as striker. But yeah,
I think we don't want to see that, because we've tried that already and it didn't work ultimately. So you want to have that optimism and you want to see a new striker, a new winger. I think, listen, we've had a good conversation tonight. Obviously, there's been a lot of, disgruntled conversation, but I always say, bro, we're a reflection of the club. The club are moving serious and doing big things. We'll be here saying, yo, respect that and look at that and this. At the moment, 17th of June, and we ain't doing nothing. And we're the ones playing catch up. So they need to act, and they've got, a month until pre-season. So I'm just hoping in this next 4 weeks they start moving and shaking. That striker and left winger signing is critical to our season. It doesn't matter what midfielder they bring in, what backup goalkeeper, what centre back or left back. If that left winger and striker is not of the level that is required, it won't happen. We dropped 20 goals in the league last year. That and Liverpool are adding to their attack. You know, like you said, Darwin Núñez, couple of seasons, Napoli being linked with him today.
Yeah.
They had a striker to that team. That front line is insane. Diaz, a striker, and Salah. So we've got to make big moves, man.
Yeah, and just listen, it's cheeky of me to say calm down here, but I mean calm down in the sense of we don't need to bash off everything the club does, right? Just just sit back, relax. If Berta makes a choice for Arteta, so what? If Arteta gets the decision, so what? Years ago when Edwards made the Salah over Brandt decision for Klopp, we'd probably as a fan base be like, oh, how can Edwards make the decision? No way, Klopp. Let's just relax. Sometimes, we know Arteta's a very good coach. We know that. I know that. I've said it many times. But is he a great coach? We're going to find out this season. And whether someone has to give him the tools to be that or find out if he is that, so be it. So be it. So bring in Gyökeres and bring in Sesko and call it a day. But if not, eyes on Rodrigo. Still, like you said, 2.5 months left of the window, 2 months left until the season starts. But yeah, I mean, we're both going Singapore and Hong Kong, so it'd be nice to get a few of those names under our belts before that trip. Or yeah, I mean, if we get a chance to see Josh out there, then yeah. On that note, love for the love people. Anyway, Turkish LDN, that's my channel. That's where the OGs lands. I was about to say every week, but you'd be lucky to get every month at this moment in time. But it's there. So subscribe Turkish LDN, subscribe Curtis Shaw TV because he's live every single day, pretty much as long as there's news to break, talk about, built up a big community over there. So show Curtis Shaw TV some love, Turkish LDN some love, and if you're looking for the South Africa content, the Big Six is the channel for that. That'll be out over the next few weeks. So make sure you're there for that, people. Curtis, I'll see you when I see you, my bro.
There you go, bro.
And yeah, you're live tomorrow next, isn't it?
Yeah, I should be, as long as... Well, in fact, yeah, the fixtures are out in the morning, so I'll be live at 9 a.m.
Thought about that. Yeah. You've just reminded me I'm live here, 8:30.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. At least we got something to talk about. The fixtures don't really... I don't know about you. I've never been bothered. I always look at the fixtures and think, you play everyone twice.
Because mathematicians are about now. The mathematicians want to do the probability of November and the fucking mean of March and the median of February and then throw it all together and find the square root and maybe we win the tie. Bro, we play everyone twice. We're playing them in winter, spring, autumn. We're playing everyone twice, bro.
Yeah, man. The fixtures don't bother me, man. Best team, worst team. If your team's ready and prepared, you're good to go, man. That's how I look at it. But at least it's something to talk about tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be there. Well,
we're live here. Curtis is live there. Fixtures 8:30 over here, 9 a.m. over there. James is also doing a fan zone at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So if you want to have your say, make sure you're there for that. I was trying to lock off the stream earlier than expected, talking about phase 6, and if I'm looking forward to it. You already know the answer to that. And last one in from Amazon, Andy says KSC are the richest private sports group on earth. Entire shambles is down to the Kroenkes. Hold them accountable. End of. On earth, people. On earth. Forget oil money. Forget state money. These men have money. Yeah? So Kroenkes, it's time to fucking deliver, man. Seriously. Curtis, love. Community love. We're at, people. See you when we see you. Peace.
This gentleman that we've got here is responsible for signing some of the biggest names that have ever played for Arsenal. Jerome Anderson is in the building.
Did you feel the change between Arsene Wenger?
This is about a man that literally gave his life to Arsenal Football Club. He was always incredibly loyal to his players and to the board.
Was he too loyal?
Charlie introduced me to a 15-year-old David Rocastle.
Oh, wow.
We brought him into my office one day and he went, listen, I want you to look after him like a dad. Sorry, every time I speak about David, I find it, even to this day, very, very difficult. I personally take my hat off to the manager And the players needed help in January, not just the fans. I don't know if that story's ever come out.